How is it going then, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video here on our channel. I'm the FIFA Analyst, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a bit of a formation battle, something that I've been wanting to do for a little while. We're going to talk you through and tell you the pros and cons with regards to the 4-2-3-1 versus the 4-4-2. Some of the most popular formations on FIFA 21. I want to explain to you which one is better, the pros and cons of them both, and to kind of help you guys decide which ones you are going to use in FIFA. If you do enjoy the video, please do give it a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel. We upload every single day at 5 p.m. We do stream it over on Facebook. A link is in the description for that if you are interested. So then, first of all, let's talk about the 4-2-3-1. Probably the formation that you come up against 90% of your FUT Champs games, with a typical backline of Gomez, Varane, Mendy, Semedo, or Walker, and so on. It's very popular and it's very, very common. Why is that? Mainly because it's probably one of the most soundest formations, one of the most solid formations. It offers you, a neutral thing in everything, right? And we're going to talk you through that and show you why you guys may run it and why you might want to choose to run it. So first of all, why is the 4-2-3-1 so good? Let's talk about the pros. The pros of the formation are that, honestly, it is very, very solid and sound at the back. Even if you just run stay back while attacking on your back line and you have your two CDMs, one on stay back, one on balanced, that's going to give you a solid, 5-6 people in defense when you are getting countered on, when the opponent's holding the ball in your half, and you've got to cover with your two CDMs. It just gives you the most soundness. It's so hard to find that gap into the attacking players for the opponent with the men that you've got behind the ball. Obviously, aiding to that is that a lot of people come back on defense on a Ram and Lamb, so then they help out with defense, and then the Cam drops back as well, and it makes it very, very hard to break down. So it will have those pros that it's hard to concede with. As long as you do your job, you won't get countered on as easily. You'll be able to kind of run around in the middle, get the ball out wide. Well, when the opponent gets the ball out wide, you can switch. You've got the men there to cover it, and it makes it very, very simple to do so in defense. So you're definitely not going to concede as many goals as you may do in other formations, more attacking minded formations. The attacking patterns in the 4-2-3-1, which I did a video on, you guys can go and catch that if you want to. With a Cam and the two CDMs, it makes it very easy to distribute the ball and transition from midfield into attack. And what am I talking about? You have your Cam that comes back and drops in between the pockets of space, between their CDMs and centre-backs, between their just CDMs in general. And that gives you an outlet. It's so easy for you to lay the ball off with one CDM, send that man on a run, and then find that Cam. And then the Cam has a choice to find the other CDM, might be a Pogba making that run through the middle, find the striker, or distribute the ball out to the wings, depends on which one he wants. That Cam should be the man that is literally dictating the game for you, distributing it as and where he seems fit. It makes it so easy for you to find him and kind of build into attack. One of the better formations in doing so. The good thing with the 4-2-3-1 is that it does allow you to play the play style that you want. People get confused with a 4-2-3-1 and think that it's just a possession, style based formation. It is whatever you want it to be. It can be used in tiki-taka, quick football. The actual 4 attacking players you've got can link up really, really well. You can play possession with it if you wanted to. You can hit on the counter attack by getting the ball out to your right back or your left back and distributing the ball down the line and looking for that quick outlet. You can do that if you want to. However you want to play the 4-2-3-1 on possession, fast build-up, long ball, balance, it's all completely up to you and how you want to do it. And that is one of the better things of the formation, that it's unique to how you want to play it. The good thing with it as well is that you are balanced in attack with your width and narrow. So one of the reasons why the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow can be exploited is because it is very good through the middle, but if the opponent gets the ball out wide, you make them pull players out of position. It leaves gap all over the park and so on. So it obviously you know, it is very good on that sense that you can go down the wing or you can go through the middle. You've got men available everywhere, which is a massive, massive pro. Now, moving on to the cons, it can be quite hard to create chances with that one striker. So looking for a 1-2 isn't as easy if you want to get in behind with the centre, with the striker, because you have to lay the ball backwards or sideways slightly. It's never too direct. When you have two strikers, it's very easy to find that ball in behind. The 4-2-3-1 is a little bit different on that. So you may have to work a little bit harder to find that opening at times with your striker, which is one thing obviously that some people struggle with. They say that they can't score as many goals and all that sort of stuff. So it is obviously one thing for you guys to take into account. You can also notice that your Ram and your Lamb struggle to get involved in the game. And this mainly is down to user error though, if I'm being honest with you. The width of the 4-2-3-1 is quite neutral. As long as you're not running 10 width and the players are spread out massively. If you're running a fairly neutral width, you can get your Ram and Lamb involved. And this is by you actually triggering LB, L1, sending them on a run down the line and looking for that through ball. It's one of the easier ways to do it, or just getting the ball from the CDM out to the Ram and the Lamb and then starting your attack with them. Your Ram and your Lamb aren't going to score a load of goals. That's not what they're there for in the formation. They are there to literally get past the man, look to try and find that sweat back across, that cross across, lay it off to the cam, who will find the striker, and the cam and the striker are going to be the ones getting the goals and the assists predominantly. The Ram and the Lamb aren't necessarily used on that. The other massive con to the formation is that it is very popular, so it's so easy for people to figure it out. And this is something that people don't realise. You play against the 4-2-3-1 in almost every single game that you play on FIFA 21. People start to understand the attacking patterns, how the triangles work, where it's good, where it's bad, and so on. So obviously that can be a negative for you because it's so repetitive. People can figure it out. If you come up against a 3-5-2, most people don't know what to do against it and they struggle massively. So obviously that has the effect to it as well. Overall, as a formation, where do I kind of rank it? It's up there in the top 3 for me. For most people, it's probably going to be their go-to. If you prefer maybe holding the ball and having a little bit of an easier time, the 4-2-3-1 may suit you. And then the next formation, the 4-4-2, is a little bit different. So let's run through that first of all. What are the pros of the 4-4-2? The pros of the 4-4-2 is that having the 2 strikers, like I said with the 4-2-3-1, it makes it so easy to get in behind. The 4-2-3-1, you have to go backwards to lay off that 1-2 a lot of times. 4-2-3-1, you've got your another striker, the 4-4-2, you've got the other striker there, you lay the ball off to him, you press LB, and if the defender's not good enough, you can get in behind so easily. Now, the difference is with this is it can be quite repetitive if you keep looking for that quick 1-2. And obviously opponents can figure that out. But if they make 1 or 2 mistakes in defence by you doing that 1-2, you're going to get in behind so easily. Literally, the strikers are on their 2 centre-backs. Makes it hard for the opposition to make sure that they don't make those mistakes. If you beat through the midfield line, you are in a very good position in the 4-4-2 to find a goal. It is absolutely crazy on the counter-attack. The counter-attack is so strong this year. Having the wingers on getting behind, the strikers on getting behind, the strikers even maybe on stay forward if you wanted to, that can be exploited so easily. You get the ball, you hit on the counter-attack, you look for a through ball, through the middle, down the line, and you are in behind as easy as that. The 4-2-3-1 isn't as easy to do that as the 4-4-2, and it's definitely something that you can look to exploit if you wanted to. It has a different approach of the 4-2-3-1. So the 4-2-3-1 is very neutral in that when you have the ball in the middle, you can distribute it to the cam, who then distribute it to the Ram and the Lamb, or you can go straight out to them. Now with a 4-4-2, you're almost going to go side to side to side to side while sending the centre mids on a run forward and your wingers and your strikers on runs. You're going to use a lot more LB, L1 passes when using the 4-4-2, and you're looking to get those men going forward. You know, it's a quick and direct formation. When you're doing it though, you're not just going to go centre back to centre mid to striker. You're going to go centre back to centre mid to right mid, back to centre mid to striker, to other centre mid to left mid to striker, and you're just going to keep going like kind of up and down like that. That's how you're going to work up to the pitch and obviously to the opposition's goal while sending those centre mids on a run. So that obviously has a different approach to it. A lot of people don't know how to play against that, which you can find a lot of success and a lot of joy. Now, the cons with a 4-4-2 is that it's very easy to get countered on. Having those 2 CMs that are a little bit higher than the 2 CDMs, you can run the second variation if you wanted to. But even still, because it's a bit more direct and a bit more move the team forward, you just notice that you get caught out a little bit more. You specifically don't have the cam that you would on the 4-2-3-1, dropping back to help in defence. So you are only defending with 2 CMs, which obviously is one thing to take into account. The 2 strikers can be hard to find because when you come up against a 4-2-3-1, for example, the 2 CDMs are going to cover those 2 strikers. So you're actually not going to have that cam lingering around like you would in the 4-2-3-1 unless you run one of your strikers on false 9, and that kind of similar to a 4-2-3-1. So it definitely can make it hard to find those strikers, which is why you go wide and then you work it back in. Now the 2 CMs, will obviously have their centre attacking mid when playing against the 4-2-3-1, kind of putting the pressure on the 2CMs. If you can get into their 2 centre defensive mid position, you're trying to drag them too far apart or drag one of them to you with the ball in the middle of the pitch, and then you can find your striker and then you can get into it. But ideally, you want to have that happening in the middle of the pitch. You want to beat them in the middle of the pitch and then get onto the defensive line. If you're holding the ball on the edge of the box, the 4-2-3-1 is going to be superior in covering out those passing lanes, making it hard for you to find that chance. The 4-2-3-1, when playing against the 4-4-2, can hold the ball very easily, and a lot with their other formations. So if you run your right mid and left mid on comeback on defence in the 4-4-2, you're going to have a solid 4 back line and a solid forward midfield, but you're going to have 2 strikers available on the counter attack. However, think about this, for most formations, they're going to have an extra man. So the 4-2-3-1, they're going to have 4 people in attack. They're going to have their 2 centre defensive mids. Their right back and left back will naturally push up slightly as well. You don't have that cam dropping back, helping put pressure on the 2 CMs. You have to do that with your 2 normal CMs. So they have two, I'm not going to swear at you, 2 centre defensive mids on 1 cam. That's 3 people in the middle of that pitch, and you're trying to defend with 2 people. You are outnumbered. It's very easy for the opponent to hold that ball and kind of, pull you out of position, basically. So you do have to think about that when you are using the 4-4-2. Where do I rank this on this year's FIFA? I'll be honest, I rank the 4-4-2 as the better formation this year because of the counter-attack, through ball style of play that we do have. If you can use the 4-4-2 to your advantage, I'd actually recommend it more than the 4-2-3-1 this year. I think it's very good, very effective for a lot of people. And yeah, it's just so strong. Now, I will put some custom tactics on the screen for you to have a look at to show you the 4-2-3-1 and how I have it set up, and the 4-4-2 and how I have that set up as well. Now, the 4-2-3-1, a lot of people won't really press too much with it. You can run press on heavy touch, press on possession loss if you're feeling confident enough in your ability as a defender. The 4-4-2, I don't necessarily recommend it too much. Now, a lot of people do run a high line on 4-4-2 and they will run press on heavy touch, possession loss. This tends to be the better players here because they're trying to put the pressure on and win the ball back and get the goals as quick as they can. It's more of a goal scoring formation than the 4-2-3-1. However, for most people, if you do that, you are going to get counted easily on. You are going to be exploited. So just be mindful of that. I did make a video not that long ago with how to create your own custom tactics. If you want to watch that and you make your own based on your playstyle and your formation, I would highly recommend doing that as well. So that's kind of the pros and cons of them. I rank the 4-4-2 higher, and then the 4-2-3-1, and then the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. But if you have any other battles that you want me to kind of do with any formations and let you know the pros and cons of them and how I would use them and how I would run them, let me know what ones you want to see down in the comment section. Apologies, I've been a little bit different in this video. I've got a really sore throat at the minute. It's not coronavirus, but yeah, really sore. It's a lot of talking, obviously, with YouTube and streaming that I do. So I think I'm losing my voice, which isn't great, but we will get through it. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.